মিস্টার নাসির, আপনার যে জার্নি এবং আপনার যে এক্সপিরিয়েন্স as a cancer survivor, I must mention to the audience that he is a cancer survivor as well, cancer warrior. Kindly share your journey and your experience, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Abab bhai. Firstly, I would like to start with expressing my gratitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala কারণ এই সুযোগটা আমাকে দেওয়ার জন্য। Secondly, আমি বলতে চাই এখানে আজকে it's a privilege for me to not only to share this stage in want of a better words with Dr. Muhyiddin Farooq, but also Abab bhai, whom I know for almost 40 years, more than 40 years, because he's from the same school. Although he has gray hairs, but no, we are only 2 years. So it's not really, I think. And Barrister Naser Ezaz, whom we all know as Shukla, and a very dear, close person. And just to ensure that মানুষের কোনো ভুল idea হয় না about her age, he's much younger than me, but she calls me by name and calls me to me. But that's fine because she actually is a very close and one of the closest and the oldest friend of my better half, and I really mean literally my better half because I'm the worst half. So, and they're so close, and it's really a privilege. And to see her growing up in front of our own eyes to a person with such a huge substance is really a privilege. I'm so delighted to see her every day. Thank you. So, third point. Now, going back to the question on that, this part of my life started 5.5 years back. তখন আমরা ভিয়েতনামে থাকতাম, আমি আমার ওয়াইফ তিলোত্তমা এবং আমার ছেলে আদিয়ান ভিয়েতনামে থাকতাম, and life was good. We had a wonderful life, and I actually did not see it coming. I'll give you a bit of context so you'll understand why I'm saying all this, because I was the chief risk officer for Standard Chartered Vietnam and Philippines, so it was basically দুইটা খুবই fast growing country. And I used to spend about a week in Philippines, few days in Hanoi, a few days in Singapore, and rest in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh, with my family. Everything was going well. We had a beautiful place, Saigon River Pashe. I think it was the tallest residential building, and we were at the top floor. It was very nice. And as part of a regular routine check, I think ডিসেম্বরে আমরা গিয়েছিলাম ব্যাংককে চেক করার জন্য নিজেদের। সো আমার আসলে একটু এই টেস্ট করার প্রতি একটা অ্যাভারশন আছে। সো আমি ওয়েট করতে যাচ্ছিলাম, আমার ছেলে আর ওয়াইফেরটা করে আই ওয়াজ ট্রাইং টু ফাইন্ড এক্সকিউজ নট টু ডু ইট, বাট typical of my wife, she made sure that I did it at the last day, and the report came out, everything was fine. The only thing that was there was our occult blood test was negative, and doctor said you must repeat the test and check korba je kichu ache kina. So I came back and as usual got busy with my life, and then I started having some pain in my stomach, and it was like dine ekbar hoto for an hour. So I started to get used to it. Tarpore frequently ashto, every day asche for longer period, but amar ekta jinish chilo ki I generally do not want to share this. And I was so busy with all those things, and I was also moving from Vietnam back to Bangladesh in a different role, so I was a bit occupied. So amar this যখন CEO ছিল Niruk Sapur and his wife, they really pushed me, and I think my wife had a role to play to do that. So to get the test done, I actually didn't actually do enough, and then because of my insistence of my wife, আমরা পরে গেলাম থেকে সিঙ্গাপুরে just over the weekend গিয়েছি চেক করে চলে আসবো, and doctor looking at me বলছে যে না you're okay, I think কোনো সমস্যা নাই, টেস্টটা করে আমরা বেসিক্যালি কোলোনোস্কোপি করতে গেলাম, কোলোনোস্কোপি করলাম করে, and he was absolutely very confident যে আমার কিছু নাই এরকম ব্যাপার. Then when I went back in the afternoon, Mount Elizabeth, and he couldn't even sit. He was standing and he was very serious. So আমি যখন আগে সকালে মিট করেছি তখন he was very fun loving, so I went in with the same mood, but he was very different. তারপরে উনি বললো যে I think you must visit the surgeon immediately. So I was a bit surprised, why is he saying so? So আমাকে বললো যে এখানে যাও, level 16-এ তুমি গিয়ে দেখা আসো। So আমি গেলাম উপরে। So the doctor বললো রিপোর্টটা দেখে, and he's very experienced doctor Richard Chu, 40 years of experience, খুব ভালো। উনি আমাকে বললো, দেখো, if you give any benefit to my 40 years of experience, it looks like malignant. And believe me, at that moment, only thing that came to my mind was my son, the face of my son, and all the, from his birth to till date. So that actually really, literally the world stopped around me at that point of time. My wife was next to me, she was crying. And then, but still, আমার কিন্তু জিনিসটা তখন রিয়েলাইজেশন আসে নাই যে it's how significant is this. So I said, আমি তো একটু দেশে যেতে হবে আমার, I'm taking over new role, so I'll come back and get it done. So he was looking at me very seriously. He said, Naser, I'm not talking about your job, I'm talking about your life. Go back, get it test, CT scan করতে বললো, করে come back in 1 week time. So I think it was 3 centimeter long. আমি দেশে ভিয়েতনামে গেলাম, বায়োপসি রিপোর্টে কনফার্মেশন আসলো যে it is malignant. তারপরে CT scan করলাম, again confirmation হলো. Within 7 days I went back. And those 7 days, I mean, interestingly, I never thought, why did it happen to me? Because I think Allah has been very, very kind to me for all my life. So I thought it's something that, I have to deal with it, as simple as that. So I came, ashram and I had the surgery. I think 12 inches of my small intestine was, taken out. কিছু স্যাম্পল নিয়েছেন আপনার, নিয়ে বললেন যে I don't think it has spreaded beyond your intestine, but we'll have to wait for this analysis to come. But every single day, and I mean, anyone who knows me that I can't sit in a place for a long time. So I am very restless, want of better words. So ওখানটায় আপনার for the first 4 days, I think I was absolutely bedridden and hardly I could move. ওই সময় তারপর ডাক্তার আসলেন 4 দিন পরে, এসে উনি ঢুকলেন, এসে বললেন আমাকে যে টেস্টের রিপোর্ট আসছে, and to me it was like every second was like a day that he's waiting to explain to me what happened and all those. Then he said, I think it's not, it hasn't spread from the samples that I've taken. So ওই বেসিসে I think তোমার আপনার এখন যেটা করতে হবে সেটা হচ্ছে you have an option to do chemotherapy or or you can do a follow. So আমার কাছে মনে হচ্ছে তখন যে for the doctor, I'm just one out of thousands of patients that he has seen. For him to say yes, you have a problem and walk away, it won't change his life. For me, it changes my entire life, not only mine but my entire family, right? But again, by the grace of Almighty, I was fortunate, এটা হয়নি. And then I was to decide whether I should do chemotherapy or not. আমি তারপর সেকেন্ড কনসালটেশন করলাম এনে SGH এর একজন অনকোলজিস্ট সাথে ক্যান্সার ইনস্টিটিউটে। উনি বললো যে হ্যাঁ, আসলে কেমোথেরাপি তো 100% আপনার অ্যাসুরেন্স দেওয়া যায় না যে এটা কিওর হবে, বাট অবভিয়াসলি দেয়ার উইল বি সাম সাইড এফেক্ট। তো you have both the options, you can choose. And আমি মনে করলাম যে আসলে let me try, যে ফার্স্ট 3 months ইন্টারভ্যালে চেক করানো, ওনার কাছে গিয়ে তারপরে 1 বছর পর কোলোনোস্কোপি করা, ওভাবে করে করলাম। আল্লাহর রহমতে হয়েছে, প্রত্যেকবারই কিছু না একটা পলিপ আসে, আবার কোট্রাইজ করে, আবার কোনবার হয় না। তো 5 years গেছে so far. But this has, this is definitely one of the significant moments of my life, right? Period of my life. It's not the only one. I had many earlier, but this was definitely the most remarkable one because it was about life, right? So it's definitely more important than anything else. So এখানে 3টা জিনিস আমার কাছে মনে হয় I've come to realize. It's not necessarily very revealing, and everyone will probably have the similar thing. I clearly realized that life is very fragile. You can't take things for granted. To your point, Albert Bhai, দেরি করে টেস্ট করতে, I had all the intentions to delay it, right? But in এক week it went up from 3 centimeter to 7.5 centimeter. So if I had delayed, it could have been much worse, right? So with the tendency, I think to your point, no one should take things lightly. Um,
Right.
I still have a problem that I don't want to admit, and I don't want to, show it up on my face that I have some issue. But generally speaking, I mean, I'm much more aware and conscious, and I try to find out, how I can, be sure that there's nothing wrong with it. I may not be saying it to others, but I do it myself. So that's one. Secondly, যেটা আমার মনে হয় যে, and I think it's something I realized, very profoundly. That is, we are in always in transition. So I think আমাদের হয় না যে অনেক কিছু আমরা we are having good life, যেটা বলছিলাম আমি আগে, যে এরকম enjoying the life and all those. There's nothing to be happy about it. These are all transitory things, and humility is not an option. It's it's a must for
It's a
anyone.
must.
Absolutely. So that is something. This reflection actually is quite profound. When you think about it. Lastly, যেটা আমার মনে হয় যে I think I found my pivot in my my Almighty, my family, and my relationships. That relationship has always been very important for me. Think about me. I know my wife for more than 30 years. I know you. I know Mr. Shukla for more than 30 years. I've been working in the same bank for 27 years. So I mean, you see, there's a pattern. I support Liverpool for 40 plus years. So relationship matters to me. The only thing is that I like to do new things with the same relationship. So I think that's something I've pivoted back to my family, my relationships, my Almighty. I think what I do much more than what I used to do earlier. I speak to Allah very often. I mean, ভালো কাজ করি, খারাপ কাজ করি, everything I do, then I speak to him. মাপ চাই বা মানে এসে করি, সবসময় করতে থাকি. That really helps me, to reconcile things and move forward. What it did to me is that I become much more resilient, optimist, and very driven. হ্যাঁ, কারণ আমি মনে করি যে এই যে একটা সুযোগ পেলাম, হ্যাঁ, এটা তো আসলে অনেকে পায়নি, তাই না? So if you actually, and there's so much you can do, but as long as you do your best, and as long as you're optimistic, I think there's still a hope. সেটা একটা আমার জন্য খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট ব্যাপার। আমাকে আমার ওয়াইফ অনেকে বলে আমি নাকি অ্যালকোহলিক, আই এম সরি ওয়ার্কাহলিক। আই এম নট ওয়ার্কাহলিক, আই এম অ্যাকচুয়ালি আই লাভ মাই জব, আই এনজয় মাই ওয়ার্ক। সো ওখানটায় যেটা হয় কি, আমি আই অলওয়েজ বিন ভেরি ডিম্যান্ডিং, বাট যেটা হয়েছে আফটার দিস ইভেন্ট, আই প্রবলি আই এম স্টিল ডিম্যান্ডিং, বাট I think I don't really feel dejected as much as I used to feel dejected when I fail or my team fail. The thing that bothers me is when people do not try, right? So that is the minor changes that has happened. Yeah. But overall, I'm mone kori je ashole these events are so profound, and these are so episodic. Na apnar this changes your life in many ways than one. So I think ওই perspective, I still remain very optimistic about life. I still think that there's so much to be done, and that is why I actually get a bit unhappy if someone doesn't do what he can do. So I think you've got an opportunity. You should actually do your best. As simple as that. I don't really care whether you fail or win, but you give your 100%. That's what I am. ওই জিনিসটা I think I also try to practice myself, and it's something I expect from others also.
Thank you so much, brother. This is absolutely enlightenment for many of us, for what you said. Okay, a lot of learning.